Welcome to Beyond the Chutes is presented by ParaSight Systems. I'm one of your hosts, Doug Simcox, and I hope that you're having a great day wherever you might be, and I hope that you are staying safe. Recently, Sam and I were out on our Tennessee tour, which, by the way, included northeastern Alabama. And on our tour, we stopped in McEwen to record with Mr. Jerry Bellis, Pro Rodeo Announcer. My co-host Sam Swearingen and Jerry had a great visit on the front porch of Jerry's house. Pull up a chair and give a listen. I think you will enjoy their conversation.
Beautiful Central Tennessee.
McEwen, Tennessee, thank you very much.
McEwen, Tennessee. With the legend. The legend.
No.
Mr. Jerry Bellis.
Drop the legend, guys. It's just plain old Jerry Bellis, rodeo announcer, ex-bull rider, and entrepreneur.
Well, somebody I looked up to since I was probably 18, going to my first Longhorn rodeo.
Is that how old you were?
18 or 19, yeah. I graduated high school.
I knew that you were pretty much starting out at the Longhorn rodeos, but I also knew that you had so much potential that you had ability, Sam, that a lot of guys coming up, young guys like you, did not have. And that is why you ended up average winner at the finals and doing as well as you did because of the ability that you had when you were coming up.
Well, thank you, Jerry. But somebody asked me, how did somebody from New York learn to ride like that? And I said, I don't think my father liked us. He's trying to kill us. So,
well, that's very true.
It's survival.
Yeah,
but
the fact that you were able to accomplish that from New York, therein lies a difference as well.
And I think looking back and listen to everybody, if you want it bad enough, no matter where you're at or where you're from, you can get there.
Well, perfect example. I was born in New York.
Okay.
I was born outside of Buffalo, New York. Alden was the name of the town.
Know it well.
And I know that you know where that's at. But moved to Florida when we were very, very, very young and got involved with the horse riding and stuff and trying to break horses and things like that. But at that time, most people did not understand that Florida was the 6th largest beef-producing state in the United States. Therefore, lots of cattle, lots of rodeos. And that's basically how I got started.
And lots of horsemen. You know, down there in Florida, you had to make your horse to work your cattle.
You rodeoed in Florida almost probably as much as I did when you were going down there. And it certainly paid off for you.
And we were talking about that yesterday. That's what made the biggest difference with me is down David Morgan. Okay, like him, love him, or whatever. He was an individual. But first day I met him, he grabbed me by the back of the hair and pulled me off my feet because I was shaking a horse's mane. He said, "How do you like it? How do you like it?" But
yeah, but see, there was a co-approval at that time between the Florida Cowboys Association and the International Pro Rodeo Association, which ended up welcoming anybody and everybody from Oklahoma or wherever to come, and Morgan was the man. He had the horses. He put on a great rodeo for what it was.
And no lack of contestants because everybody went there. There's nowhere else to go. And I learned to ride there because you never stopped.
Right.
You know, up there you stopped for 6 or 8 months. But when I went to Florida, David had old Charlie, and I'd go get on him on a practice Wednesday.
Honky Tonk and Skeeter and
he had Smart Dugan.
Smart Dugan.
Oh, he has some
was the number.
Amazing horses.
Yeah, you know, those are
amazing.
When New York shut down, New Jersey shut down, all these places shut down. Welcome to Florida, guys. You can come rodeo here all you want to ride.
Now, what shut down for me is I went to college in Martin, Tennessee.
There you go.
And they expected me to do something in college, where in high school, as long as you're a good kid and didn't do anything wrong, they pushed you through.
Right, right.
I got to college. They want me to do what? I better go rodeo.
But in the long run, it sure paid off for you.
It's been wonderful.
You know, the life that you and I and people like us lived back then, it's hard to describe, but there is no comparison. You're either a cowboy or you're not. You're either a rodeo man or you're not, but there's no in between. You're one or the other, and you either excel or you don't, and it's up to you in your head to decide whether you want to be or whether you don't want to be.
It is, if you want it, you can do it.
That's exactly right.
I remember I only got to see you ride one bull in my life.
Me?
You.
Really? Where'd you see me ride?
Niagara Falls.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
You announced the rodeo. It
Yep.
was over.
Yep.
Slack was over. They had your bull loaded in the chute. You went down
Right.
and got on. Mike must have been entered there or something, because I was too young. I was probably 13,
Do you know
12.
how many times I did that? Did you know that for the first 8, maybe 9, 10 years of me announcing Longhorn rodeos, I'd step down off the announcer stand and he could get on a bull every time?
And what was going through Bruce's head? Who's
Well,
going to
let me
announce
tell
tomorrow?
you the story.
Okay.
Let me tell you the story. It was at Milwaukee. And Gerald Smith sent the bulls up there. And he had one 19. And I had him. I stepped down after the rodeo, got on him, and he turned back over there, and he bumped my cheek with a horn, my right cheek, and a big purple mark showed up there. And I had won. We had 7 rodeos that year, and I had placed at every single rodeo, and I had won as much money riding bulls as I had announcing the rodeos. But when Bruce saw that purple mark show up my face, he said, "That's the last one." He never let me get on another one. He says, "I'll not have a spotlight on your face like that ever again."
Interesting, because I wouldn't worry about the mark. I'd be so worried about you couldn't do it the next week that I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, but that was what he said. And at the Longhorn rodeos, I never got on another one.
Huh?
And I had really done well that fall. Placed all 7, one Macon and several others, but he forbid it from then on. And that's when Lisa and I really got together and started putting acts together.
Oh, yeah, another legend.
Yeah.
Another legend.
We worked together for 17 years. And most of it was Longhorn, not all of it. I had done a couple of big hats with them and a couple of other deals, but that right after Bruce made me stop riding bulls completely, then we kind of got a little closer together, talked more about the acts, and tried to put them closer together and trying to make them better, and progressed from there for 17 years.
And that's so true, because when I quit riding broncs, I focused on the rodeo business, and it made all the difference.
Right. Yeah.
So you lived in Wauchula, Florida.
Right.
Well,
I started out on a ranch in Daisy, Florida, for a man named Martin Woodard. I worked for him for 3 or 4 years and worked cattle every day. Every day that I wasn't working cows, I was going to a rodeo someplace. And then we eventually moved to Wauchula, where I was what they called basically a day worker. I worked cattle on Eagle Island Ranch, 52,000 acres. Bright Hour Ranch, 50,000 acres. Bluehead Ranch, 47,000 acres. And work cattle on all those places and help them gather and mark and brand and semen test and do all the things that you did on everyday ranch work. And I lived there for Well, till we moved here. We've been here 33 years, 33 or 34 years, and we lived in Wauchula for probably 30 years before we moved here. Maybe 25.
Yep. Well, I was at your place in Wauchula once.
Yes.
Oh, you do remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I remember you being there one time.
First train
Sam,
ride.
everybody in the IPRA was at my house. One time, Jack Wiseman showed up with 14 people in the van. Him, his wife. I mean, and what was really funny was we lived out of the woods. We ate gator tail. We ate wild turkey. We ate filleted bass. We ate deer meat. And Jean would start in the morning. She would go to work for her mother in a sporting goods store, and she'd put a big old roast ham in the oven. And when she got home, she'd fix supper. And after it was 2 weeks between Davy and Lakeland, 2 weeks. And in that 2 week period of time, they completely wiped out my freezer. Wiped it out completely, now I'm telling you. Gator tail, bass, turkey, deer, and an occasional steak.
Well, I wasn't one of them. I came up on a train from Davie or down that way. And Dan Daly picked me up. We were going to some rodeo.
In Avon Park, I think it was.
I don't remember, but that was the first time I ever took a train.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way it was.
Okay. Yeah.
But there was Wally Terry and Sam Patous, and Dan Daly lived with me for 11 years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Luke Workman, Terry Postrak, Lyndall Walters, all those guys, every one of them would stop off. We came home one night from, I think it was Webster, maybe, and when I got to my house, I stepped across bodies laying all over my living room floor. Speed Williams, Darrell Solly, Walt Walden, all those team ropers laying on the couches and on the beanbag chairs, sound asleep. We just tippy-toed across there, went to our beds, got up next morning and went on.
Now, those team ropers, a lot of them were Yankees, weren't they? To begin with, that moved down to Florida later on.
The guys that were coming most of the time were Okies.
Okay.
Okies and Arkies. Lots of them, for sure. But yeah, there were some guys.
Darrell, he was from Maryland or Delaware.
Darrell Solly was Maryland originally, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah,
I
one
think
of them places up there. But.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was from Maryland originally. But yeah, those are the guys that would come by there, and I never knew. I never, ever knew who was going to show up at my house, but most of the time there was somebody there.
Wasn't that blessed, though? You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I told him this. I've always said, I've preached this time and time again, that we are so blessed because the IPRA family is the most closely knit, lovingest, caringest family of any sport in the world. You can, Sam Swearingen can leave right here, McEwen right now, and I'll guarantee you what, if you had to get to California, somebody would help you get there, and it wouldn't cost you a dime.
No doubt. No doubt. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, family. It's a family deal, and there's nothing can take its place.
Yeah. And rodeo, when you're done rodeo and it's done with you, but it's not the people. The people are not done with you.
Oh yeah.
You know, the crowds are gone. You know, they don't.
And like I told them, I had to say something at a reunion and down there in Georgia, and I said, "Let me tell you what, guys. I don't care if you're a rough stock rider, if you're a timey roper. I don't care if you're an announcer, a bullfighter, a clown, a pickup man, or if you were just standing in the back pens loading livestock. You are still part of this industry. And you can't take that away from you.
Right.
You're still part of the industry, still part of rodeo, and we're glad to have you.
Yeah, and it's all over. You know,
Oh, yeah.
It's all over. And it's changed now because there's no rigs going down the road, 7
Right.
and 8 guys in it. And, it's different. But in its day, Mike Fletcher said it best. We rodeoed in the best time there ever was to rodeo.
I've said that time and time again. I think there was a 10-year span right there when rodeo, and particularly the IPRA, was the best that it ever was, and it never will be the same again.
I agree. Might have made me mad because some of the guys were good that would beat me, but
Well, yeah.
that's beside the point. It made me better.
There's nothing you can do about that, but we were part of an era that will never be replaced and never be duplicated.
We talked this morning with some friends of yours. They said to say hello.
Who?
The Goodriches.
Who?
The Goodriches. Cliff.
Oh,
Julie.
Goodriches. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, bless her heart. I love them.
Wonderful people.
Wonderful people.
And we talked a lot about rodeo, and their son's doing very well.
Oh, yeah.
And they help a lot of kids, and it's just, that's what it's about. You know, at that day and age.
And Cliff he and his wife are both excellent teachers.
Yeah.
They're not just contestants. They are teachers as well, and they can relay that rodeo message to kids that a lot of people can't do because they're teachers.
Right. And very respectful of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
Just good people. Good people.
Excellent people.
Yeah.
You can't beat them.
No.
Yeah, you should have got a hold of Tony Davis.
Tony Davis.
Tony Davis went with Jack, and he is a bulldogger, and he is second or third in command at the livestock market here in Dixon.
Oh, okay.
And bulldog and rascal, what a wonderful person he is. Just became a grandfather about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago. But you would have enjoyed talking to him. He has some Jack Wiseman stories that you would really enjoy hearing, I think.
All of them might not be able to be on this microphone, but
no, they could pretty much be on the mic because Tony's a pretty straight shooter.
Oh, good. And what day is the livestock?
Monday.
Opener? Monday.
Okay. Every Monday at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah.
And it has grown by leaps and bounds. It started off with 3 men in a partnership, and now there's just 2 brothers that own it. But oh my goodness, they went from averaging 500 a head a week to 1,400 to 1,500 head a week or more.
Wow.
And oh yeah, it's quite a deal.
Well, I've seen some nice looking cattle coming in here.
Yeah.
There's some nice babies on the ground, and
my neighbors, 2 of them have got some pretty good cows. I looked after these cattle right up here for 15 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like around the 1st of May, and the hay looks like it's ready to be cut. When will
Look
they
at
cut
it right
this?
there, brother.
Yeah,
That's been fertilized, and it's just getting pretty close to being ready to cut.
Yeah, it's this time of year is when you'll be cutting.
Yep.
Because it looks ready.
2 weeks.
Okay.
About 2 weeks, and he'll be mowing her down.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good country. It's not so bitterly cold, but it's not so miserably hot. I think weather conditions right here in central Tennessee are probably as good as you want them to be for cattle country.
That's so important too, because when it's you know, up there in the summer is great because it's never hot.
Right.
You know, if you get 3 days and 90 degrees, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But
on the other
winter,
spectrum,
when that wind starts blowing in there and
off
snow,
the Lake Erie, buddy, it's
you
not
better
a
have
good
lots
deal.
of hay in there for them because they will eat the hay.
Yes, sir.
When you're young, you're always told corn. Well, now you read the articles and it's not. It's hay that keeps them warm.
Right.
It turns it like a furnace in their belly and keeps them warm. So
But
you'll feed a lot between that and the mud.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, fighting that bud's not fun.
So what was your favorite Longhorn rodeo that you did?
My favorite Longhorn rodeo was Auburn Hills, and I'll tell you why. It was the only rodeo where they had the replay screen.
Okay.
They had the great big screen, which very few had. Nowadays, that's the big deal. Right. Every rodeo has the screen. But back then, when I was going, when I was announcing those deals, perfect example, guy'd rope a calf, run down the end of the rope, and he'd try to flank the calf, and the calf had his left leg hooked behind the guy's leg, right. And he couldn't flank him. And I could say, folks, look there. See why that calf won't down? His leg is hooked behind. And it was a way to make a fan out of a spectator. I always felt like my job was to make a fan out of a spectator and want them to come back and see another rodeo. And being able to explain that on a screen and point out the differences, I think that's why it made the difference for me. That's why, by far, my favorite rodeo was Auburn Hills.
And there wasn't, like you said, many screens out there. And
very few.
When I got done riding, when you're getting on, okay, I'm going to watch myself when I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch, and then I forget because you didn't do it.
Yeah, and that was the deal.
Yeah.
But that was my very favorite. I liked going to Houston. I liked going to San Antonio when we did the two Longhorns down there. But San Antonio had no crowd. They were strictly PRCA. And they didn't necessarily want us there. But Houston, it went pretty good for the first year. But Auburn Hills and Rupp Arena in Louisville was a great rodeo. They objected because we got a lot of dust in their sound system and stuff, but that was another really good rodeo.
And they're doing ones there now, I think. I think they're doing rodeos in that building
I
now.
think they are. Yeah, they went back to doing them, yeah. But Madison Square Garden, to me, that was a neat deal. I announced it once. I'm probably the only person in the world that announced Madison Square Garden and rode bulls in Madison Square Garden. I had Big Mac there. And Red Duffin marked me and Jack Wiseman egged me to cost me the long go-round. But, Madison Square Garden. But it was a deal where, I think this is the correct figure, 77,000 people attended over the 7 performances.
Wow.
10,000 people per performance, I think, is what the figure was.
That's incredible.
So, and it was a unique and interesting situation for me because of being able to do two things.
Right, yeah. And nobody, as far as you know, can say that.
Yeah, nobody. So it was a neat deal.
Yeah, that city's not for me, but
Oh man!
I've been there for the rodeo twice, I think, and the PBR twice, and that's been enough.
Yeah, for sure. I don't care anything about going back to New York City for a rodeo, but I'm into this PBR thing a little bit, and I'm anxious to see where it goes, what's going to happen with it, the team deals and things like that. But I want Dalen to do good so bad. And he's struggling so bad right now, and I'm hoping for big things for that young man. And I think he's capable, but I think he needs a little help in the head.
Well, and right now, he wants it so bad that
maybe too bad.
No, exactly. I think
that's
what's
trying
going
too hard. I don't know.
I think that's what's going on. I don't know. If I knew, I'd fix it for him.
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat, because I think the world of that boy, and I would really like for him to succeed beyond all others. I can say that. I would hope that he would succeed beyond all others, but that's in God's hands.
Yeah, and actually, he has already.
Oh yeah. When you consider the Canadian deal and the NFR and the PBR finals and the world title.
The college national champion.
College national
the
champion.
same year, he
Exactly.
made the NFR, the PBR finals, won the Canadian PBR,
Yeah.
won the college national championship. Nobody has ever done that.
Nobody,
Ever.
and probably never will.
Probably not.
I mean, the days of that kind of an athlete are kind of slipping by. They're specializing now instead of focusing a bunch of events. I want to be a bull rider, or I want to be a bronc rider, or I want to be a bareback rider. But I don't know of anybody right offhand, Stetson Wright, that's working 2 events when he's not crippled. But other than that, who else do you know of that's consistently working 2 events and winning?
Not rough stock events.
Right.
Timed
Exactly.
events.
The timies, there are some that are doing well, but rough stock riders, there are none.
No, and it's difficult.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
I think the caliber of the livestock has increased. I told Lori, I said, the guys that are breeding the bull riders aren't doing near as well as the guys breeding the bulls.
Ain't that the truth? We went to, Doug and I went to Louisville to the PBR this weekend.
Yeah.
And they had the 3- and 4-year-old calves out. And I mean to tell you, it was, they had a black one there. I don't know what you would have marked him. It had to raise your scale because that bull was incredible.
And it's J.W. Hart, Cord McCoy, Dylan Page. These guys, instead of having 30 or 40 or 50 bulls, Dylan Page has got 400.
Probably 700. If the truth be known,
he's in partners with Bart Fitzgerald and some of those guys. And my goodness, there's more bulls than there are people in that part of the country.
Yeah. And they live it, they breathe it. That's all they
eat it, sleep it, dream it. That's their life.
And that's how you get good.
That's their life, and that's exactly how they get where they're at.
Yeah. So when you were riding, I know you mainly rode bulls as far as I knew, but you worked everything. You were a cowboy through and through.
Yeah. Dale, do you remember Dale Haley?
Yep.
He taught Sean, all-around champion. He said, you need to talk to Jerry Bellis sometime. He said, why? He said, he worked on a Wild West show. He said he rode saddle broncs, he rode bulls, he roped calves, he set up and tore down, he drove truck all night long and fed the livestock and rode the square dance on horseback and announced a drama act. He said, no way. He said, go ask him. And sure enough, she's got pictures of me over there bulldogging, riding broncs, roping calves. I won the average in the team rope at the Northeast Region Finals. And people don't know that. I don't care. When I was day working on those ranches and stuff, you had to do it all. You gave shots, you cut calves, you worked the squeeze chute, you wormed them, you ear tagged them. You did it all.
Right.
And that was just part of being a cowboy.
And you were a bulldogger at one time. I'd have liked to have seen that.
Lori, show him a picture of that bulldogger.
Well, I have many here.
I won the bulldogging at the Brighton Indian Reservation, and it qualified me for the top 15 for the Florida Cowboys Association.
Yep.
Yeah.
Weighing 162 pounds, probably.
Soaking wet with a rock in each pocket, and Jack Wiseman doing the hazing on flop. I was riding flop. I was riding flop, and Jack was hazing for me. Yeah, I was 3'6", won the bulldog in there.
Wow, that's great.
But you never know. I won the bulldog in Minnesota, at Red Wing, Minnesota.
There's one in Florida with David Morgan Hazing.
Oh, look at that.
He's been a calf roper.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. The steer wrestling surprised me.
How about saddle bronc riding?
That kind of surprises me. Look at that.
Weird stuff.
Folks, you have to see these pictures. Now, this one,
That
it's
was
just
in Wild West. So.
okay. That's what I want. The Wild West just fascinates me. just fascinates me.
I worked on Bob McKinley's, well, Cherokee Hammond started me on a Wild West show in 1958. In 1959 and 1960, and part of 61, I worked for Bob McKinley out of Farmer City, Illinois. And that's where I did all the roping and the bull riding and bronc riding and stuff.
Okay, so out of Illinois, is this the same one that Tom Orr worked on?
No.
No. Okay.
A guy named Kenny Fisher, and do you remember Barry Brown?
No.
Kurt Brown, the Brown brothers from up there in Michigan?
No.
They worked there, Lyle Brown and Bob Kitchener and me. We were the crew.
Yep.
Yeah, we were the crew, Bob Kitchener and the Brown brothers and me. And
Cool. Yep. And the Wild West show, you did everything.
oh, yeah.
You did everything.
Oh, you had to. You set up and tore down. You fed the livestock. You know, you did everything. And I drove truck all night long to get to the next one. Sam, we went Crown Point, Indiana, and thought we were on vacation because we had 2 performances a day for 4 days. We got to stay there for 4 whole days without having to move or go anyplace else. Other than that one time, we set up and tore down in a different town every single night for 35 days and nights straight.
God bless you. It must. I tell them boys, I said, nothing will make you ride better than setting up and tearing down a
You ain't kidding.
It'll make
You're
you
not
hang
kidding at all.
on tight. Oh,
Yeah.
so
But that was the deal with the Wild West, and that's pretty much how I basically got started.
now when you were in Wauchula, and you said Dan Daly lived with you for 11 years. You said you lived in Wauchula,
Yes.
and Dan Daly lived with you
Yes,
for
he
11
did.
years.
11 years.
So what was that like? Did he
He
take off?
came, I don't know how many people are aware of this or not, but he was from Enumclaw, Washington,
Right.
Washington State. And they were kind of wanting him to play football for a college out there. But he was an excellent bronc rider. He was a pretty darn good bullfighter. People don't know that.
Oh, yeah?
But Dan Daly was a pretty good bullfighter as well. But he came back. He had heard about the David Morgan rodeos and was traveling with Jack and them. And when he got on with Jack and they came to some of those Florida rodeos, he liked it down there. He ended up building a house in Wauchula, Florida, and never spent a night in it.
Is that right?
He built the house, and I said, well, yeah, it's still there.
Well, somebody cooked for him.
And he said, are you going to go home to sleep tonight in your new house? He said, not me. I'm not going out there by myself. So he never spent a night in that house. Even though he built it, we built a practice pen out there. We roped out there. But he never spent a night in that house. He got back with Robin, and they sold out and moved back to Oklahoma.
Then he went to Ocala with
Yep.
Robin and lived
Yep.
there for
And
years.
she ended up being the #1 thoroughbred horse salesperson in that area.
For real estate.
Oh, boy.
She did very well for
did
herself.
really, really well.
Good for her. Yeah. And that she hit not only a good salesperson, but the right time when everything was blowing up in the Ocala area.
Yeah, sure enough. He, Dan would go with me when we go to the woods, hunt hogs.
Oh, okay.
And we were out there fishing one time, and my wife, she gets a sniff in the air. She says, turn the dogs loose. I smell a hog. I said, no. She said, turn the dogs loose. I smell a hog. I turned the dogs loose, and I'll guarantee you that those dogs didn't run from here to the end of that driveway.
Is that
Sure enough, they catch them about a 200-pound boar hog. And I run out there, and I finally got to him and legged him down. Dan, bring the chain. Get these dogs. I ain't coming out there. You couldn't have held a gun to his head and made him come out there. Gene, in a pair of flip-flops, came out with the chains and got the dogs so I could drag that hog. And I drug him the length of this driveway, and Dan's standing up on the back of the truck saying, "Need any help?" I said, "No, Dan, just stay right there. No problem."
I can see him doing that.
Yeah.
And I went hog hunting one time with
Oh, really?
Mr. Williams
Uh-huh.
up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
And we spent the night out there in the woods.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you know Kenny, you...
Yeah. And I didn't know all this to begin with when he asked and I was going to go. I said, yeah, I'll go out. You know, I'm no hunter. I don't hunt today. Everybody else in my family does.
Right.
But I'd rather fatten them up and kill them and eat them.
Feed him a little corn.
Yeah. But I'm out there, and it's getting dark, and I'm thinking, where are we going to stay? What are we going to do? And I'm a Yankee. I ain't going to sleep on the ground. So I sneak off, and I jump in the cab of the truck. And
Take a little snooze, did you?
well, that's where I spent the night. But when the other kid come and help, that's usually where I sleep. And I wasn't about to give it up to sleep on no ground.
Sure. No, we spent a many a night in the woods catching hogs and, an occasional gator. I'd take it, Lori went with me, I'd take her fishing and we'd catch some little gators and she'd...
I didn't like it.
You didn't like catching them or the gator tail?
I didn't like being out in the middle of the lake in the dark with the mosquitoes and the alligators. And
I'm with you, girl.
I was ready to go home.
I got stuck out there one time and had to walk in, and I was scared to death.
Do you remember Harold Murray, the truck rider?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He worked for Longhorn. He wanted to go hog hunting one time. So Jimmy Brownlee had an airboat, and we went off out there behind the Mormon Ranch, 365,000 acres. And the dogs caught a hog, but it cut the dog really bad up there in the throat. And the guy that was with us, along with Jimmy, said, "We got to get this dog sewed up. You stay right here. We'll come back and get you." And there we were out there in the middle of the swamp. And they took off in the airboat to go get the dog sewed up. And Harold said, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" I said, "They'll be back." I said, "But if you're worried, there's a cabin, a little hunting shed right over there. You just swim across this canal right here, and we'll go over there and light a fire and dry off." I ain't swimming across that. You couldn't have held a gun to his head and made him go over there. But we did eventually. Went over there and lit a fire, dried off, and everything worked out good. But he was terrified.
Oh, it's so different, you know. It's just stuff you're not used to.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
Well, Dan was deathly terrified of snakes anyway.
oh, yeah.
He would kill you over a snake.
And
Yeah, it was... Florida's different. What can I say?
yeah, it's especially for a dumb Yankee, it's very different.
Yeah, it's a different deal, but...
We were on a swamp buggy and sawgas got draped up around the drive shaft.
Oh, yeah.
That guy said, "Jump down here and cut this off."
Cut that over there.
Oh, shit. I ain't doing that. Excuse my language. Bull hunky.
Yeah, really.
And later on that night, I had to get in and walk across the swamp. And they had those dikes up through there.
Yep.
And I was so happy we got there. I said, "Oh, we made it." He said, "Now you got to be scared because this is where the snakes get the heat off the rocks at night."
Right.
And I said, "Oh, yes,
Yeah,
this is wonderful."
It's a little different, but Sam, I wouldn't have traded part of that life for anything in the world. The ranches, I rode across a 4x4 concrete marker that I'm going to guess. Now, I might be wrong about this, but I'm going to guess that there probably isn't 500 people in the whole world ever seen it.
Is that right?
A marking where they marked off territories back there in the Seminole Indian days.
For the corner of their land
Yeah.
or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a different world.
Yeah.
You know, you can get to talking about the Seminole Indians and what's going on down there with self-surviving, self-preserved. You know, there's no hunting. You do what you want to do at a reservation and stuff. It just amazes me what goes on down there still, even to this day. I had a guy call me 4 days ago, Amos Tiger from the swamp, from Brighton Indian Reservation, called me 4 days ago just to see how I was doing, check on me.
Wow. And, yeah, in the Seminoles, the only tribe that never surrendered to the United States.
Never surrendered, ever.
And
that is the truth.
What they did, I went on a little tour thing through the swamp, and the guy was talking about it, and it was amazing what they did. They would lead the army down to gator holes and stuff. They did what it took to survive, I guess. Kind of amazing.
Different world.
Yep.
There's so much to talk about, so much to see and do down there. But, you know, it's still, getting back to rodeo, it's still, you just can't replace it.
So good to see you.
Sam, this has been a blessing. This has been a wonderful, wonderful day for me. And I appreciate you guys coming. It's been, rodeo stories and rodeo people are special. They don't come around a whole lot, but they're mighty, mighty special people, in my opinion. And
I told Mike when he was here, old cowboy friends are the best.
What?
Old cowboy friends are the best. We love when they visit.
Yeah, that's true. We've had a lot of them come by here, not near as many as came by Wauchula, but had lots of people come by here, and I'll tell you, I probably shouldn't say this, but we don't lock our door. We do not lock our door. It's always open.
Right.
If somebody needs to come by, stay, spend a night, get something to eat, we're here. And just come on in, sit right down, make yourself at home.
And that's a blessing to so many people, you know.
Yep.
It's just a blessing.
I got a motto. If I can help somebody and I travel along, if I can share somebody with a word or a song, if I can show somebody that they're going wrong, then my living will not be in vain.
Wonderful thing to live by, isn't it?
I think
Wonderful
so.
thing.
I think so.
And you worked some rodeos for me on and off through the years, and it was one of them things that I appreciated more than anything, because I hated it. I shouldn't say hated it. That's a bad word. I didn't like it when the announcers would embellish all this stuff and everybody was this. I knew when Jerry was on the mic, it wasn't going to be embellished. It's going to be black and white, and you were going to be who you were, whether you're a rookie or a 7-time world champ. He wouldn't.
I would always hope that I was, like I said, my job, making a fan out of a spectator. I always tried to enlighten people as to what governed you and I when we were riding, the rules we had to abide by, marking out rules, different things. All these things that we had to abide by is what I tried to share with people so that they knew what we were going through as contestants.
I never would have thought of that, but yeah.
Really, just think about it. What we had to put up with, the travel, the entry fees, the miles, everything. This is something that can only be shared by contestants and people that did this for a living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't understand it unless you played the game.
People would never understand it.
And it's not a game for the faint of heart.
Oh, no. It's huge.
So many talented people out there that couldn't handle the road or the lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you didn't want to do it and have everything in it, that's okay. But the ones that did, really
I told you, I don't know if you want to use this or not, but Glenn Bird calls me every day.
Right.
And he told me that Ronnie Williams has a son that roped. He won the average at the IFR in the calf roping.
Uh-huh.
Could rope as good as anybody, could team rope as good as anybody, but could not take the road. He just, Dad, I can't go. I just can't stand that highway.
Yep.
And could do it as good as anybody ever could.
And I wondered what happened to that boy.
Yeah.
You know.
And he just quit. And a talent, oh my goodness, what a talent he was. I don't know if you'd want to use something like that or not, but this kid could really, and he even rode bareback horses a couple times. But he's such a talent, but just could not take the highway.
And that road's not easy.
No.
Oh, it's not easy.
In fact, there's a lot of guys think that's the hardest part of it.
Oh, definitely.
The hardest part of making a living on the road is the road.
Yeah. And we are so blessed back in that day that so many close calls of people that should have, we were talking about trading drivers going down the road, do dumb stuff,
Oh, yeah.
It's just dumb. And you did it second nature,
Because you're in a hurry to get to the next one.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
And that was just part of it.
Yeah. And, Dalen called me his rookie year in the PRCA. He said, I'm tired. I want to come home. I can't do it, and this was late August. And I said, maybe you should come home for 2 weeks. Colton, he said, well, yeah, you come home and watch it with the rest of us on the couch, but he didn't place. He didn't do anything good there for a while because the road just beat him down.
Yep.
And I'll give you a little story about Dalen. He calls and he's at the high school finals the year after he won the bareback riding for the high school finals. I said, what are you doing at the high school finals? He said, before this, he said he had somebody to travel with because he was going alone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, the kid I'm traveling with's here. I said, what's he doing there? He said, he's riding. I said, you mean to tell me you're the senior adult in the truck? Because we always travel with 5 or 6 people,
Oh, yeah, always.
And they're out there beating their brains out on the road like that. And he's at the high school finals to kick this kid to go to the Mortensen boy to go to the next rodeo. And, but that road will wear you out. And
in a heartbeat.
Yep. And
in a heartbeat. I remember I announced White River, South Dakota, Sunday afternoon. And we had pulled on a travel trailer, and my wife had to be in Winsboro, Louisiana the next morning to open the books. And we made it.
Wow.
That's a road story that it was fast and furious, to say the least.
Yeah. Things have changed so much.
Oh, yeah.
And not everything for the better, but a lot for the better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, when you can punch in a computer and enter the rodeo, you don't have to. I mean, that day, Monday, was wasted by being on the phone.
Oh, yeah. But now, computer center, you don't have to worry about it. Just,
right.
Stetson Wright made the statement. He says, my dad enters me. He says, he tells me where to go, and I go.
Mm-hmm.
I said, far as trying to pick out the ones, that I want to be at or where it's best for me to be at, he said, Dad does that.
Yep. And there's an art to that.
Oh, boy, is there ever.
Knowing what day to be up, what horses are going to be out. Bulls aren't so important, but the horses, you better try to get in the best pen of horses you can.
Get in the good ones, yeah.
There's an art to it.
Yeah. I watched Colton. He was 5 and change last night, I think, somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
At one of those deals, Fort Worth maybe, I don't know. But we watched him bulldog a little bit. He was 5'5", I think. Oh. But, yeah, if you're a roughie, especially bears and broncs, you better pick the right pen of horses to get into, or you're not going to win.
Yeah. Everybody's so good if you don't get on one.
There is a difference.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's half the score.
You get into Pickett's horses and some of those Bridwell horses and some of them, you better have your hammer cocked ready.
Yep. And that all comes back to that breeding of someone you used to work for a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, JRJ and
Right.
Sutton, and, when Nightmare got bred of that Sutton horse and started that line, and JRJ, and oh, my goodness. I think Maggie and Gene are really good friends, very close. And I think Maggie said that a year ago they had 60 head of JRJ horses go to the NFR.
Isn't that amazing?
Can you imagine?
No, I can't.
And that's not counting Calgary and Vold and Sutton and all those guys. Gee whiz, where do they get those horses?
Yep. It is what they have done in the horse business.
It's
just
their life.
Yeah.
It's their life.
And
that's all you can say.
yeah, they live it, breathe it, sleep it.
Yep.
Yep.
For
They've
sure.
done an amazing job with it. Amazing. Done it any better at this point in time.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's been an amazing run,
Yep.
but it's been a good one. It's been a good one.
Well,
Man, oh man.
that's all we can look forward to in life.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Run a good race and be happy about the finish we made when we get there.
Well, I'm planning on getting there. I'm heaven bound. That's for sure.
There's no doubt in my mind. There's
But
no doubt.
can't beat it, guys. Can't beat it.
And, I'm a sap, but with Jerry, I've looked up to him for more than just his announcing and his cowboy stuff. In life, he is a very decent, honest man. And that's,
I hope. That's why I said my living would not be in vain. I hope that people will look at my life. Mike Fletcher said, you are one of the reasons I became what I am, because I saw in you that I could be a better person and not do the drugs and all of the junk and the stuff in the rodeo world that was going on back then. He said, you were my example. And that made me feel great. I mean, how could you pay anybody a better compliment than to say you are one, not the only one, but one of the reasons why I am the person I am.
I don't know if there is a better compliment. And I meant it when I said, watching you and Jeannie together, what you did.
Sam, you don't know how much I appreciate that.
It,
I have no idea, but it's just, I would just hope that I've set some kind of an example.
And it was never a push it down your throat. It was like...
No, I don't believe in that.
You had to look at it.
I don't
to see
believe in pushing my religion, my ideas, my focus on anything or anybody. If you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you how it is. And if you don't want to hear it, don't ask me.
And I can tell you this for a fact. He's opinionated, and he will tell you what he believes.
I told my kids this. I said, I'm one way, tunnel visioned, and narrow-minded, but I can afford to be because I'm right. That's kind of the way I always leave it.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of BTC with Jerry Bellis, Pro Rodeo Announcer. To make your listening easier, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Search for Beyond the Chutes and follow us. Like us, give us comments. Let us hear from you. A reminder, check out our Beyond the Chutes Facebook page and click follow. And we'd like to say thank you to ParaSight Systems for all their support with our podcast. They help the wheels of the BTC bus go round and round. ParaSight helps us as BTC is on the road again. ParaSight System is a push-button parasitic diagnostic system for pasture animals. your horses, cattle, goats, sheep, chickens, and for your companion animals, your dogs and your cats. You can find them at ParaSightSystems.com. Get your animals tested. Check with your vet to see if they have the ParaSight Systems all-in-one device, which allows testing for your dogs for 3 types of worms, coccidia and giardia, while you wait. For your large animals, you can go online to ParaSight System to order your mail-in kits. We have a coupon code, BTC023, for 50% off those test kits. So let's test before we treat. Let's know exactly what it is we are treating before we pick up the wormer. This is Beyond the Chutes. Until next time, this is Doug Simcox. Thank you for listening.